12 things others don't realize you are doing because of your high-functioning anxiety. Number 12. You take blame for slow responses. When someone with anxiety is messaging people, they need a quick response back. If they do not receive one, they begin to panic and wonder if they said something wrong. This is another reason why they rewind past conversations. HealthyPlace.com reports that guilt is one of the many distressing side effects of living with anxiety. If someone is taking a long time to reply to a person with high-functioning anxiety, all sorts of scenarios will pop into his or her head as to why they aren't getting quick responses. This can be attributed to their constant overthinking. Number 11. Decline invites despite wanting to go. You have received an invite to this big party and you have been waiting to go for weeks now. But on the day of, your anxiety begins to take up your whole space. A lot of anxious people can vouch for this. Anxiety over an event can become so draining that you feel as if you're lacking the energy to go. You realize that this is happening and you don't want to be a burden where you're supposed to go, so you end up canceling everything and staying home. Avoiding social situations is a very common symptom of social anxiety. Many people who suffer from social anxiety don't like being around large groups of people and will do anything they can to avoid dealing with those types of situations. Are you surprised by some of the things on this list? Keep watching to find out some even more surprising things that people may not realize you're doing because of anxiety. Number 10. Obsess over trivial things. It could be a simple word that was used or even someone glancing your way for a mere second that will have you rewinding that moment for days to come. The hard truth is that you obsess over everything that has happened a week ago or even a month ago. You may even obsess over a situation that happened years ago and stay up all night thinking about it. This type of thinking can affect your daily routine and really get in the way of productivity, especially at work or at school. These thoughts may even leave you feeling withdrawn and quiet in social situations. CalmClinic.com reports that obsessive thoughts are a common symptom of anxiety. You probably also obsess over people that do not respond to you. You texted someone and haven't gotten a response back and it's been 12 hours. You begin to wonder if they've seen the message and are just ignoring you. Number 9. Fall asleep late and wake up early. Sleeping is the number one problem for those with high anxiety. With so much racing through their head, they find it very tough to go to bed at a decent time, according to Health.com. Health.com adds that the reason those with anxiety are up so early is that the anxiety clock begins to tick and ring as soon as they hear their alarm go off. Once the anxiety switches on, there's nothing they can do to turn it off, so they just don't go back to bed. Not only is this a detriment to a person's physical well-being, but it's also a detriment to their mental well-being and often turns into a vicious cycle. Number 8. You're constantly thinking of the worst scenario. According to Health.com, rather than enjoying the moment, someone with severe anxiety will begin to picture and convince themselves that the worst scenario is on its way. One example is when they get sick, they will self-diagnose themselves and link their symptoms to the absolute worst disease they can find. Number 7. Too mentally tired to get out of bed. Even though their anxiety wakes them up early in the morning, it still doesn't mean that they're ready to get up. Most days they're too mentally and physically tired to get out of bed and just wish they could stay curled up under the sheets, according to the Mayo Clinic. Number 6. Don't enjoy meeting new people. They will constantly be worrying, will they like me? And if people don't come to them and converse, they will just keep to themselves or even leave the function or event altogether. The Mayo Clinic states that people with anxiety will try and avoid anything that will trigger it. So if you have anxiety and you do not do well in social situations, you will not enjoy meeting new people. Number 5. Constantly rethinking past conversations. Health.com explains those with anxiety will constantly think about the past. no matter how well a conversation went. Those with anxiety constantly keep rewinding it in their head. They fear that they may have said something wrong, so they try to avoid confrontation at all costs. That constant rewinding can really drill a hole in their head. So constantly trying to remind themselves that it's their anxiety tricking their mind is something they try to work on. Because people with high-functioning anxiety often overthink things, they often rethink past conversations and analyze how the conversation could have gone better. Number 4. Someone's concerns about you makes you worry even more. One of the biggest triggers of someone's anxiety is when someone notices that they're not all right. They think, if someone else notices, then it must be worse than they thought, according to WebMD. When someone worries about a person with anxiety and makes it known to the person, he or she will start to worry about how they look in other people's eyes. Number 3. The future terrifies you. Health.com explains that excessive worrying is a direct sign of anxiety. Most people look forward to the future, but someone suffering from anxiety becomes intimidated and frustrated by it. Dealing with the present is so tough for them, they can't even imagine how much tougher the future is going to be. They are often also very hard on themselves when something goes wrong, or when they don't accomplish a certain goal in the timeline they had set out for themselves. Number 2. Constantly comparing success to others your age. A lot of people with anxiety can vouch for this. Anxiety can sometimes come with a perfectionist complex. Anxious people may not want to compare their success to others, but their anxiety makes them constantly scroll through Facebook and keep up to date with all the successful things their peers have done. It's not their peers' success that scares them, it's wondering if they will ever succeed that does. Social media doesn't help with this and often gives off the illusion of grandeur, which in all reality is nothing but a facade. Number 1. You beat yourself up over every mistake. Mistakes are a part of life and a part of growing. But the second someone with anxiety makes a mistake, it will haunt them. Their anxiety doesn't know it's a part of life. It only knows it's bad. The Mayo Clinic states that this is a part of having a sense of impending doom, which is a sign of anxiety as well. Making mistakes is only human, but that doesn't stop people with anxiety from feeling bad about it. Experiencing that feeling of nervousness and worriedness is a normal part of everyday life. Everybody frets or feels anxious from time to time. Whether it's a busy schedule or studying for exams, a little bit of anxiety can really help you focus your attention, energy, and motivation to the task at hand. But when the anxiety exceeds its normality, a lot of people don't realize or understand the direct effects it can have on a person or even themselves. Many times people jump to conclusions and label anxious people as lazy, irresponsible, or passive. Anxiety can be an overwhelming feeling to deal with, and more often than not, most people don't understand it. Most of us tend to tell people who suffer from anxiety that everything will be okay and that they're overthinking it. But anxiety is a disorder that goes beyond just overthinking. Do you suffer from high-functioning anxiety or any type of anxiety in general? What do you think most people don't know about you because of your anxiety? Let us know in the comment section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.